Those serving in the military are often exposed to toxic chemicals and need medical care, sometimes decades after their service ends.
WAND investigative reporter Doug Wolfe discovered while men can get the care they need, many women have become the forgotten veterans.
Active duty women and veterans fighting new battles some years after they leave the military.
It got to be so bad that I couldn't breathe. Like an elephant was sitting on my chest. I just could not breathe.
Veterans faced a wide variety of toxins over the years at shuttered bases like the Chinook Air Force Base in Rantoul and active bases around the world. Toxins which create unique medical and healthcare needs. Women are often the forgotten veterans. Their health issues are often much different than men's. The healthcare needs for women are frequently gender specific, and over the years it's been difficult for some like Christina Keenan to have the medical community even accept the fact that she is a veteran.
Even though I've been using the VA for my healthcare for many years, even at the DC VA when I went in for emergency care, I was questioned no less than 5 times if I was an actual veteran, even though you have to show your ID to get into the door.
Christina Schauer served in Iraq while in the Army.
As a combat medic in from 2003 to 2004.
When Christina came back from Iraq, she attended the University of Illinois, where she first noticed health issues while running.
I started running in the fall, and I was having a lot of struggles to breathe afterwards. It was like I just couldn't get a good deep breath in.
Her breathing problems were not showing up in pulmonary function tests or x-rays. Years later, she obtained relief using an inhaler.
Really what they have found is through biopsy that these people have like constrictive bronchiolitis or other issues.
Christina is a member of the Tri-State Women Warriors, an advocacy and support group for women veterans in active duty military in Illinois, Iowa, and Wisconsin.
I feel like that's something that's been common in our group, is different types of reproductive issues, whether it's miscarriages or fertility issues.
In 2012, Christina lost her daughter Madeline, who was stillborn.
It's a condition where your brain just never developed. So she had a brain stem, but her actual brain never developed.
Christina wondered if there was a connection to her service in Iraq. She says there was very little research information she could find on Iraq, but there was a late 90s study on women who served in Vietnam.
That study showed that women who served in Vietnam were more likely than women who served but didn't go to Vietnam to have children born with moderate to severe birth defects.
In November 2021 at Pearl Harbor, 14,000 gallons of jet fuel was leaked into the Navy's drinking water. The result has been multiple illnesses along with miscarriages.
I know all too well how common miscarriage is because I've had one myself. 5 women on my street got pregnant all around the same time. 4 of them lost their child to miscarriage. The woman who lived in my home before I moved in had a stillbirth.
Lawmakers, including Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski, want more research into how toxins are impacting women's health.
We know that women veterans, when they're exposed to some of these chemicals, have up to a 40% increased risk of getting breast cancer. They have increased chances of ovarian cancer, but we don't have enough research right now to really understand, specifically for women veterans, how they're exposed.
Michelle Rowling grew up in Illinois, was in the Navy, and served at a historic military base.
I was at Pearl Harbor. I was tracking submarines.
Michelle is also with the Tri-State Women Warriors.
Because we encounter different things than men veterans do. So we all talk amongst each other, we all help each other.
She served in the Navy from 1982 until 1988. Before arriving at Pearl Harbor, she served at a base in California and Barbers Point in Oahu. At both locations, the young member of the Navy was told to help remediate buildings which turned out to have asbestos.
When we did remediation, we never were given any protective gear. We just, as newbie classes, we were told we were removing white coverings from pipes on the ceiling, which Probably 90% of the people broke out in, rashes.
Michelle eventually developed years of breathing issues.
Asbestos was more likely the cause of my lung issues.
Scar tissue has been found on her lungs, and in recent months started a claims process with the Veterans Administration, providing medical records.
So I had probably a 4-inch file of 25 years of going to the doctor for breathing issues.
To top it off, she is also dealing with skin cancer.
Skin cancer can be one of the things that come out of that. So I have had that on arms and face, and I don't know if it's from removing that asbestos without protective gear.
Congresswoman Budzinski is calling for more research into these issues. Christina says better research on reproductive health after toxic exposures in the military is one of her passions.
We do know that we were exposed to toxins over there. We know that those toxins have caused a variety of conditions in a lot of people, ranging from cancers to respiratory issues. And we know that it's plausible that a mother could be impacted in a way that would affect her unborn children.
Federal money for research may be hard to find as Congress proposes massive cuts in research programs. Indicator Doug Wolfe, WAND Investigates.
And keep this in mind, before the draft ended in 1973, women made up about 1% of active duty personnel. By 2021, women serving on active duty increased to more than 17%.
Toxic chemicals on a shuttered Air Force base here in central Illinois.
Yeah, WAND Investigates reporter Doug Wolfe takes a deep dive into how so-called forever chemicals were caused by firefighting training at the base, which closed 32 years ago.
Chanute Air Force Base in Rantoul, at one time a training facility for military firefighters. Kevin Ferrara arrived at Chanute in 1991.
So yeah, I landed in the middle of a cornfield. Scared the heck out of me.
Closed in 1993, Chanute is still a source for toxic man-made forever chemicals known as PFAS. Chanute was a base used for training Air Force firefighters.
Chanute was your primary training base, your tech school. That's where you got you were baptized in fire, as many people say.
They used a firefighting foam known as AFFF.
We were told firefighting foam, it's perfectly safe. It's just, it's soap and water. And we took it at that. It's like, oh, soap and water, that's fine. We use this stuff every day.
Foam which has since been determined to be toxic. Chanute has been closed 32 years, but the impact of using firefighting foam will last for decades. PFAS from firefighting foam get into the ground and drinking water. The CDC says they are connected to cancer and other health effects, which are leaving veterans sick or dying.
Kidney cancer, testicular cancer, colon cancer, bladder cancer. We're starting to see some rare forms of brain cancer.
The Air Force is currently in a multi-year process of investigating where PFAS are located at Chanute and how much is there. A second Illinois location, Scott Air Force Base in downstate Belleville, has also used AFFF for training firefighters, and PFAS are a problem at that base with similar dangers.
PFAS is a forever chemical. It is, if you've been exposed to it, it is very dangerous and something that we want to eliminate.
Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski represents Decatur, Champaign, Springfield, and areas near Scott.
This is not actually, sadly, an uncommon story. There are other military bases similar to Scott that have similar concerns.
Dr. Craig Bash is a veterans medical advisor who has also testified before the Board of Veterans Appeals to help veterans receive VA benefits.
But the truth of the matter is every base has toxic water.
Dr. Bash previously testified on behalf of a Chanute veteran who had several medical issues, including cancer.
That case was toxic water. The water can cause all kinds of cancers.
Dr. Bash tells WAND News firefighting foam used for training will often get into the drainage system on military bases, goes into the water table, eventually up to a water tower, and ends up in the drinking water. Everything from firefighting foam, jet fuel, solvents, and degreasers end up going down drains.
What happens at the bases, all the bases have little drain holes, right? Little drain holes. And the water from the airplanes, the tanks all goes down these little drain holes. And it goes down directly into the water table. You can prove they had exposure because they have to drink water when they're there. There's no way to get around it.
So we would just simply wash it down in the stormwater drains, the stall drains, and it would go into the stormwater and then where it went from there, into the sanitary sewer systems.
Some of the highest levels of PFAS ever detected in the U.S. have been found at military installations.
Jared Hayes is a senior policy analyst at the Environmental Working Group, which specializes in research and advocacy in the areas of toxic chemicals and drinking water pollutants.
Decades of use built up into the soil and the groundwater at that site.
At Scott Air Force Base, Jared says 2 different types of PFAS are at extremely high levels.
Those 2 at over 100,000 parts per trillion. And to put that into some context, the EPA has said that the safe level for those 2 types of PFAS is just 4 parts per trillion.
And the cost to clean up PFAS at Chanute?
The cost to complete, as of the last time we calculated it last year, is going to be $37 million.
And the cost to taxpayers at Scott?
Looking at $46 million and growing in cost.
There's another problem with forever chemicals. They don't always stay in one place. In fact, they can migrate into other areas.
So that chain link fence that separates Chanute from the civilian side, that's not a very good barrier.
We've taken 496 groundwater samples from the shallow aquifer. We've taken 755 soil samples.
Paul Carroll is with the Air Force, which is investigating several locations at the former base to see exactly where PFAS contamination is located.
Once we get those sites investigated, we'll determine whether there is a human health risk or ecological risk at each one of those sites.
A remedial investigation report is scheduled to be completed in the fall of 2026. Actual cleanup of the contaminated locations will begin sometime later once the appropriate steps needed are determined.
It's just going to be a long, lengthy process to remediate it once we get things started.
In recent years, the military phased out the use of AFFF firefighting foam, although Kevin points to records showing it was known for years to be toxic.
There's documentation, unclassified documents and reports that show the DoD and various branches of the military knew this stuff was hazardous but never told us.
We found reports by the Air Force and Navy as far back as the 1970s, which showed concerns as to how the foam was impacting the environment and its toxicity on fish, while many veterans have to fight the VA for health care benefits.
The truth was no, if they paid for all the medical stuff like they're supposed to, then the VA budget would have to be 3 times larger for the admin side.
Toxic exposure in the line of duty.
So it stays in the environment forever, it stays in your blood forever, and it's scary. It's scary stuff what this stuff does.
Doug Wolfe reporting.
It's man-made, it's not natural, it should not be in our blood.
For WAND Investigates.
The federal government has previously listed the Air National Guard facility in Springfield as having some levels of forever chemicals at its facility.
You can see this entire report at our website, WANDTV.com.